Hello, welcome back to Webster 10 TV. My name is Mario Herrera and we are here today with Julia Munder from Maxwell Scott Bags to talk about international e-commerce. Hello Julia, how are you?
Hi Mario, I'm good, how are you?
So, can you tell us something more about Maxwell Scott Bags as a company and what markets are you in?
Yes, so Maxwell Scott is an international online retailer and manufacturer because the bags are designed in the UK and then handmade in Italy.
Okay.
And from our office or warehouse in York, we then ship the bags to our main markets, which are the UK, the US and Germany. And recently we've also started shipping to Austria, Australia and Switzerland.
Okay. How do you approach international e-commerce? Do you have a global strategy or do you approach each market one by one?
We have a global strategy in so far that we have a business ethos. So we want to manufacture a product that is of good quality and is lasting, timeless, and we want to attract an audience worldwide that appreciates these qualities in the product. When it then comes to marketing the product, we've got a strategy for each single market.
Okay.
So we take into account the language, cultural aspects, current events, different seasonal events, and then market individually to each market.
So what are the biggest challenges that you face when you are going international?
It's crazy at the moment because we've grown so fast in the last 2 years that everything's a challenge.
Okay.
Because with the rise of our profile, the expectations from customers, partners have risen as well. So we just have to get it right. We don't want to disappoint. So and one of the biggest challenges as well is product development, making sure we have the right product for different channels, different markets. Asian customers shop different to European customers, for example.
Okay.
So we have to tackle that.
Which channels are most effective for driving engagement and conversions? And do you see any differing in between all these channels and the countries?
Again, it's difficult to pick out one because they all work hand in hand. So if your site's technically really well set up and your product descriptions are good, your content is good, obviously helps with SEO. Then SEO helps the PPC team to come up with their strategy, pick the best keywords.
Go together all the time.
It all works together, and vice versa. Surprising from an e-commerce perspective personally, because I was very target driven, I had to hit my KPIs and everything, but this year we found that content and PR actually were really successful for us. It's harder to measure because PPC, you've got your click, you've got your conversion,
you can see the performance
you can
easily.
see it. But with content, it isn't that clear cut. But then again, I think this year it really helped us to change the business and take the customer on a journey, and then if they engage with your content, it's easier to take them down the purchase funnel as well.
Okay, and I guess you do a lot of social media as well.
Yes, as well.
E-commerce is no longer pure transactional. Brands need to develop a strategy to contact the customers and create this engagement with them in order just not to present the products. How do you approach this? How do you engage with your clients, with your customers?
Like I said before in your previous question, content helps. Customer engage with content, so you lead them down the purchase funnel. And then just keeping up to date. Like, for example, as an online retailer, we sell quite a luxurious product, leather. If you go into a shop, you can smell it, you can
touch it.
You can feel it, you can touch it. Whereas we don't have that, so we have to bridge that gap linguistically, and we have to also bridge it with photography. To get the customers to aspire the product and want to own a Maxwell Scott bag. So all our content is focused on inspiring the customer. So we do that with engaging texts, pictures. One thing that really helped was video, to stay on top of the curve. And
so I guess you need to offer them something unique, right? Because as you mentioned before, they cannot touch the product, they cannot feel it. So how do you offer something unique through video, through ads?
Just really targeting the text to our audience, to the customer, and then trying to describe it as good as possible.
So it's really emotional.
And show it. Also, like we've implemented 360 videos, so the product swings and you can see it. You can see every angle and can imagine it better. And one thing that's really important for the luxury market is also personalization. People want a unique product, something personal to
course.
them. So for 2017, we're currently working on a bespoke briefcase project. So you can basically design your bag, choose your lining, choose
do
your
it
leather.
yourself, basically.
So it's basically
All
do
right.
it yourself, and you get the product you want, just customized for you.
Okay. The world is so big, and there are so many countries to target, and I guess you every day you try to achieve more countries. You mentioned before Australia. Do you have any more countries in the horizon? And how do you are trying to target them?
Yeah, this year we've launched Australia, Austria and Switzerland. For next year, we want to focus a bit more heavily on the French market again, because France is one of the biggest importers for leather goods. So that should be a good market for us. And also Asia. Japan's particularly interesting because the Japanese value British quality products.
Right.
And also the gifting culture is interesting in Japan. Corporate gifting is really big, so with our accessories and small leather goods, that's a good market to go in. We've started a bit on the Asian market with a site called Gifts Less Ordinary. Okay. It's not on the high street of Singapore, and we've seen first successes, so hopefully Japan would be something.
And which factors makes the difference or helps you to differentiate which country you should target or should not? How do you take that decision?
We've got loads of
About
international...
the culture, I guess, and...
Yeah, we've got loads of international visitors on our main home page, so the UK page. So we see where people are coming, where there's interest, where we ship to, also now from our UK side. Right. So that's the first indicator if it could work or not. We look into cultural background. We also look at income, with it being a luxury product.
Of course.
That
is a
factor that has to be considered. And yeah, generally when we go into new countries, we start with marketplaces, shopping comparison sites, just to test the water. And when that goes well, we get international experts involved, get native speakers in-house. We also work closely with UKTI. Right. Their team gives quite good guidance in starting into a new market, and then we go from there. Right.
You mentioned before that you are entering the Asian market. Asian people or Asian markets are completely different than Western. How do you tackle this in terms of payment methods or procedures, delivery, and so on?
Just with research, trying to cover all our bases, making sure we know which payment methods are used, we know how it works with shipping, duties, things like that, everything that's involved like that. And as I said before, then work with international experts, get native speakers in-house, making sure the translation of the website's spot on.
You've been recently exploring the opportunities of selling your products on retail shops physically, apart from the online store. Online e-commerce is growing and growing every day more. So are you still considering this is worthy to do this?
Yes, we are definitely. The e-commerce business is still growing and there's loads to go at. As I said, the Asian market in itself is huge. But in terms of actually being present in department stores, selling offline, it's more of a branding effect for us. So we want customers to see us next to bigger brands as well.
So still you
see
need
the
to
quality,
be there.
And that would also help with the online business.
To grow.
If they,
to grow. To create word of mouth, I guess. Okay.
Definitely to grow the whole business.
Perfect. Thank you very much for being with us today, and see you next time on Web Certain TV.